In Saigon, amidst the bustling streets and the warm, humid air that clung to your skin like an unwelcome embrace, there was one place whispered about in hushed tones: the old barracks. Many soldiers avoided talking about it outright, but when they did, it was always with nervous glances and lowered voices. The unease wasn't just about the creaking wood or the oppressive silence that seemed to blanket the building at night. No, it was something deeper, something primal. The fear of hearing what shouldn't be there, of encountering the inexplicable, and of realizing that some places hold secrets better left undisturbed. What made this place unsettling wasn't just the isolation or the dim lights. It was the stories, accounts of doors slamming without cause, whispers echoing through empty hallways, and, most unnerving of all, the spectral figures seen strolling as if they belonged to a world long gone. The barracks themselves were imposing. Built during an era when function outweighed comfort, the building seemed to crouch against the Saigon skyline like a predator in waiting. The walls, once painted a sterile white, had aged into a patchwork of mildew and decay. Long corridors stretched into darkness, lit only by the flickering of ancient bulbs. Each step echoed far too loudly, as though the building were amplifying the sound to announce your presence to whoever, or whatever, might be listening. At night, the barracks transformed into something otherworldly. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and the air grew dense, as if the very atmosphere sought to choke out your courage. Some nights, a faint melody, like an old love song, could be heard drifting through the walls. No one ever found the source. The most persistent tale was of an American GI and his Vietnamese lover. The two were said to have vanished during the chaos of the war, their love ending in tragedy. According to the whispers, their spirits never left. Soldiers swore they had seen the pair walking hand in hand down the hallways, only to vanish as they turned a corner. Others reported hearing their soft laughter, always just out of sight, mingling with the occasional sob of grief. But these weren't the only occurrences. Doors would slam shut violently when no one was around. Footsteps echoed in empty hallways, and some soldiers claimed to feel unseen hands brushing against their shoulders. Those who stayed too long in the barracks alone reported strange dreams, visions of war-torn landscapes, and fleeting glimpses of a man in a tattered uniform standing at the foot of their beds. During my deployment, I was assigned to those very barracks. At first, I dismissed the stories as mere superstition, tales born out of boredom, and the eerie ambiance of an old building. But my skepticism didn't last long. It started small. One night, as I sat on my bunk reading a letter from home, the door to my room creaked open. I expected to see one of my buddies playing a prank, but the hallway beyond was empty. I shrugged it off and closed the door, chalking it up to the drafty conditions. Then, just as I sat back down, it happened again. And again. The next night, as I walked to the communal showers, I heard the distinct sound of footsteps behind me. Heavy boots, the kind we all wore, thudding against the wooden floor. I turned around, expecting to see another soldier, but the hallway was deserted. My pulse quickened as I scanned the shadows, the dim light doing little to ease my growing unease. And then I saw them. At the far end of the corridor, barely illuminated by the flickering light, a man and a woman stood side by side. His uniform was unmistakably American, though it looked like it had been through hell, torn and bloodstained. She wore a traditional ao dai, its vibrant colors muted by the dim lighting. They stood still for a moment, then turned and walked through a door that led to the old officers' quarters. A door that had been locked for years. The barracks seemed to have a way of pulling people into its strange rhythm. Even those who dismissed the supernatural couldn't deny the oppressive atmosphere. Some claimed it was the weight of history, the residue of war and loss, that clung to the place like a stubborn stain. Others believed it was something more sinister, something that fed on the fear and despair of those who stayed within its walls. I never saw the pair again after that night, but the barracks continued to make its presence known. Whispers became a nightly occurrence, doors slammed as if in protest, and sometimes, late at night, I swore I could hear the faint strains of that melancholy song. I avoided the officers' quarters, but I couldn't shake the feeling that they were watching, waiting for something, or someone. To this day, I wonder about the barracks. Were the stories just figments of overactive imaginations, fueled by sleepless nights and the heavy weight of war? Or was there something more, something that lived in the cracks of the old walls, thriving on the energy of the past? In the end, I suppose some questions are better left unanswered, because some doors, once opened, can never be closed,